Yankee 3-4 Victor Mike, was it? No. No? You say okay. That's mine.
Yankee 41.
Yankee 41, Yankee Mike. It sounds now, after 20 years, it seems a very long time history. But we have people who've been 50 years and us, so we know these call signs, of course, in the past.
Probably people remember the ZL8R calls. We have again now back, but I personally never had a ZL8R call because I was licensed in 81 and ZL8R calls stopped in 0.
Yeah, like DN2XO, XDL7BFR, he goes traveling Berliner, and quite a few DN2AYO coming back from the past time, and they are actually the DM course. Okay, so are you ready? BCC, Bavarian Contest Club, goes Kermadec. Okay, it's yours. Sure.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. So we have about 55 minutes time, so please stop me when the time is over because I think there's too much pictures and I can't say too much to the pictures not to run out of time. Everybody knows where ZL8R is? I think yes. One question, if there's anybody can loan me a laser pointer or something, because I think I don't know where mine is.
There you are.
That would be very kind. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, ZL8R is located north of New Zealand. Actually, propagation is a little bit different from New Zealand. You see, it's nearly roughly 1,000 kilometers to the north coast of ZL. It's 1,000 kilometers to Tonga, and it's about 1,400 kilometers to Norfolk Island. So that means there is nothing around in the circle of 1,000 kilometers, no other station to contact the source of port if you can speak about the contest. There are several islands, as you have seen in the picture before, maybe I switch it back. Actually we have 5 or 6 islands that belong to the Kermadec group, but the only one you really can say is Raoul Island, where all the formerly expeditions took place. I don't remember that there was any activity on the other ones. I have one picture on one short video of Esperance rock, and then you can see that it's very difficult to activate such a rock. Even Martin can do, I'm sure, because he also did the Bravo Sugar 7 hotel.
Thomas, are they different from in IOTA program or same island group?
What is IOTA? You have to look for, I don't know. Raoul Island, the main island, is a volcano, and the only place to stay is this region here. It's the only flat area. All the upper area is rocky, up to over 500 meters. There's a general meteorological station and a station of scientists all the time, managed by about 5 to 8 people. And our camps, we are located here. I say our camps because we were so many people that we decided we have to have 2 camps because we are 14 people. So then very famous are these lakes that belongs to the volcano, and the actual volcano is this one. That's the big caldera, is under the water, invisible, but actually the volcano is much bigger than the part we can see above the water. So why did we intend to go to ZL8? Actually, our plan was to go to Malaysia, as everybody knows. AA7 Julie Victor and HA7 Radio Yankee did the trip about half a year before we intended to go to Malaysia, and then we had to change our plans because Malaysia was no more needed at all, or even on the low bands it was no more needed. Maybe on the high bands it's still demand, but it makes no sense in the moment with the low sunspots. So we changed our interest to another part, but it should be in the Pacific. We were always a little bit liking to go to the Pacific, because Pacific is the most difficult area to contact from into Europe, and we are strong minded to make contacts on as much expense as possible into Europe. So after we had been quite successful from Norfolk Island with a smaller group and from Willis Island in 2008, so the next to go was now ZL8. From Willis we just had missed the 100,000 QSO borderline. I think we had 98,600 or something, so it was still close. And so the first goal was to break the 100,000 QSO borderline. Next was to be on all bands, this time also on 6 meters. We will then see if we were able to make any contact on 6. RTTY was in big demand from Zulu Lima 8 because formerly the expeditions mostly operated in CW and Poland and not much RTTY. One goal was to be successful on the low bands. Even ZL8R radio made a lot of 160 meter QSOs. I think we didn't work any Western Europe and we didn't work so many Europeans. And when you are running a lot of stations in parallel and you are making a lot of QSOs, then you have a chance to also work the little pistols. Normally in the first stage you only work the big guns, and smaller expeditions only work the big guns, and after 3 or 4 days the expedition is over and you have all the big guns in the lock but not the little pistols. So you have to do many QSOs that we have the chance to also work the little pistols. So last of these set some operating standards for large expeditions. After making so many expeditions now, and every time our expedition is growing a little bit by QSO numbers, by operators, by stations. So we have some ideas how to do things to make an expedition successful. And the last part is, and very important one, is to be part of the secure worldwide, not only to serve the multiplier, to present the multiplier for everybody, but also to be successful, to make a good result from the Pacific. Challenges. This island belongs to the Department of Conservation. That means there are a lot of restrictions. So that was a big challenge because we didn't know until we arrived there what was allowed and what was not permitted. So we had the hope we could erect 2 camps. We had the hope to erect all the antennas, but we were not pretty sure. At the end, everything was fine because we had a very fine contact with the dock people, but you didn't know in advance. We just had papers, and the papers said the final decision is made when you arrive at the island by the chief of the dock. So that was one of the challenges. The second much bigger challenge is in kind of earthquake or volcano, the expedition can be over before it even has started. So you never know. It's not very often. The last was in 2006. And we evacuated the island in 2006, so if it happens just at the beginning of the expedition, then the expedition is over. And the third challenge is that there's no public transportation where you have to organize and to pay your transporting to the island and from the island. And this was about 2/3 of the costs in total was alone the transportation. So let's continue. Another challenge from the view of ham radio is that from Zulu Lima 8 to Europe, we are behind the Aurora overall. It means west of Finland, all the European countries are behind the pole, and it's very difficult to make contacts on short path and as well on the long path. Just as you can see, Finland is a little bit lucky this time because it's bending around over a little bit, so you were on the roadside of the propagation this time. I remember when I last was here and showed the results of the XF4, then you were the losers with only one contact and 160 with Finland, and this time I think we have much, much more. This comes from this better location between Sululima 8 and Northern Europe. Here the activities were, the last one was 2006, Sululima 8 radio, very famous. Also the ZL8R Charlie Whiskey was at least 3 times there, 2000, 2001, 2003, maybe earlier it was also already. Sululima 8 Radio India, Sululima 8 Radio Sugar. There were a couple of other expeditions in the 90s, in the 80s. So for the normal country, just to get the DXC, there was no so big demand, but on the specific bands and modes, there was some demand. So now we come to our team. Our team consisted of 14 people. Why so many? We had, as I already told, we had to buy or to loan a ship. The ship was very expensive. That means we had to fill the ship to the maximum. Maximum actually was 13, and then we were even able to increase it to 14. So we have 14 people to pay. So you have a maximum on money you could put into the project. The problem then was that 40 people need work. They need to stay long on the radio. With only 6 or 7 bands, it's difficult to do that. So we decided to go for 2 camps to give all these people enough work. First time we had a doctor. That's why some people already asked me why you have 13 men and just 1 woman. But it was our lady doctor. Fortunately, she had nothing to do on medical, from a medical view, because fortunately there was no accident at all and no problem. And he's even a hand operator. He started only with CB some years ago, and he learned to run contests in Poland, and now she even is able to work CW pilots. So it was just perfect, the radio operator and the doctor in the same person. That was our ship, the famous Braveheart, had made many trips already. It's not a cheap trip. If you charter Braveheart, it's expensive, but you can trust that it will go well. Not like some other expeditions who failed because transportation failed. If you order the Braveheart, you can be fairly sure that these guys will do all things right. So we have the Braveheart crew. This is Matt, is the captain, and his girlfriend Emily. The father of Matt is the owner of the small company. It's a Nitro Trolley, who also made the trips to VP6. And then Brocky is the cook and the second person on board. And these 2 guys are new this time. They were first early on the Braveheart, but also very good guys and very valuable. So our trip took us over Dubai to Auckland, New Zealand, and then we had a bus tour about 2 hours to reach Tauranga, where was departure harbor. Something was not happens every time, but this time it happened was the inspection at the dock, because this island is under special control of the Department of Conservation. They check everything, that you don't bring any mice, any seams, any feet, anything what would not belong to the island. And so we are very strict and check everything of your baggage to make sure that nothing will brought to the island what not belongs to it. So this is a very important sentence. I just tell it because to remember to the VP6 the expedition I made with ZL6 FBL Greetings, by the way, from ZL8R. You should do the presentation today actually, but he got serious illness in hospital, or was in hospital. I think he came back yesterday and he could not make the trip. When we organized the VP60X trip, Eric K3A asked us, what about the drinks on the island, what would you prepare, how much do you need, and Ben just wrote with to Eric, if you want good those, give us beer. That means just take a lot of them. And American English seems to be very different from German thinking, because Eric was thinking, don't give these guys beer, we won't be successful if we have beer with us. And so we had not a single can of beer in French Polynesia, and we had Ben and me on our personal costs, we had to buy beer to have a little bit beer just for us too. And this time we organized it in a different way. We remembered on these words, if you want good those, give us beer. We said, okay, we are going for 200,000 QSOs. That means we have to have 2,000 cans of beer, one can for 1,000 QSOs. Actually, the calculation was correct. We didn't make the 200,000, but that was just the reason was that people from the dock and the people from the Braveheart also drank all beer, but didn't make 1,000 QSOs. But it's just to show you the difference between German expedition and American expedition. So it's even possible to make many QSOs without with beer. Briefing on the Braveheart, very important that nobody is falling the wall. Briefing over briefing, how to enter the island, what to do first, and so on and so on. We just keep it a little bit shorter. See how we're tired, yeah, we have to run a little bit. I have a small video, but maybe we skip it because we are already early. It's also a picture from the Braveheart. I just said you can see what are the people who are not eating. The other one are not in the picture. And this is Esperance Rock. At least it's a little bit bigger than the Bravo Sugar Sand, isn't it? So actually, for one it would be easy, I think. No. No, it doesn't work. I don't. Oh, yes, it's work. Yeah. Actually, what is the island for? There's a landing place for a helicopter in case of emergency. A helicopter can reach Esperance Rock from Sulima 1 with using all the gas he has. And then he finds, if he's lucky, he finds more gas stored here on the rock, and he can take the flight to our island. So if there is a case of emergency, he can pick up a person or who was injured or someone and make the way back. So, and the only chance to do it by helicopter is to land on this rock to take over new petrol or to new gas. So then maritime mobile, we made a little bit maritime mobile, not much, only with 100 watt with the K3 and a simple wire antenna. There was only one important thing people ask us in advance, will you walk a maritime mobile? Maybe some of you know that there's a CQ award of walking grid squares, and there's one grid square Alpha Fox, there's just water in it. And the only possibility to activate this is if you go to Sulima 8, you cross this field for about 2 or 3 hours. So people are very, very, very demanding. And maybe this grid is even more raw than Sulima 8 itself. So last thing we arrived, Braveheart has 2 boats to make the transportation to the island. Yeah, that's normal stuff. You need at least half a day or even 1 day to unload the ship to bring all to the island. We have then to clip these rocks here to bring it up. Fortunately, we had some helpers from the dock, people who were able to help us, and we had flying fox. That was a big help, that we could bring the equipment to the top of the rock. You can see the flying foxes bringing the equipment piece by piece. It took about half a day to bring all the equipment there. There's a picture normally every Zulu expedition has it in his presentation, just to make sure that it really was the whole island and not somewhere else. The dog island this time consisted of 8 people, mostly scientific personnel staying 1 year on the island, and volunteers. Volunteers staying 6 months. And the volunteers are doing only one thing. We're removing all the vegetation that does not belong to the island. So we have this of some special kind of vegetation we have to remove. The island is divided into small pieces. We have to watch all these places and have to remove all the plants that doesn't belong to the island. Still transportation, and this is the place where also the formerly expeditions took place, the woolshed house. It was a farmer house in the past, and it was no more used after the farmer had left. So it's still in good shape, and so it was decided to use it as a radio station camp. We were living in sleeping in tents, but it was house was used for the radio operation. So this time we had concentrated into having the spider beams. We had motor and spider beams this time, no multi-benders, to make sure we have no interferences between the stations. So all the stations were running on monobenders. So we have the East Camp, the 4th station with the K3. Every station had an ACOM 1000 and a Microham MK2, and we had a 5th station with the supervisor PC and the spare and the 50 megahertz operation. Most of the time we just visited the band from time to time to have a look if we could hear anything. Mostly there's nothing, but you can see that 1 day or 2 days where the traffic was on 6 meters. We had a satellite internet connection. We were in the cluster most of the time, but mostly on the passive mode, not to get too boring questions. We had Wi-Fi between the camps, so they now come to the antennas. We had 2 foursquares for 30 and for 40 meter. On this camp, and inverted V on 80 in the trees. In the Titanex we had 60 for the top end operation. We had monobenders from the spider beam for 10, 15 and 20, and we had the VDAs, the vertical dipole array, that was already used on the Lucy and was a little bit reconstructed by us. I'll show you on the next slide. And we had 6 meter yard and 5 elements. Now it is not on the next slide, maybe it's 2 or 3 slides after. This is spider beams. Spider beam I think for 20, 15 and 10. And these are the VDA antennas. I think in the next slide you can see how it works. The idea was to separate the station as much as possible, but to avoid as much as possible interference, we went that one station on the same band should work horizontal polarized and the other camp station should work vertical polarized, and so there should be a maximum on proof against interference. We later found out that these vertical dipole arrays were not as good as the spider beams, but we didn't have any interference, and it was worth to try this system. Now, why Wilma was decided by ZL8R before the Willis expedition, called Willis Island Lightweight Monument Antennas. It's one element antenna with 3 reflectors. One is connected, the dipole is corrected, and then the other ones are open, so it's a reflector together with the feed line, and you are able to switch very fast into 4 directions, and so the antenna is very efficient, especially over salt water close to the beach. It's a very efficient antenna, not so inside the land. That was our second camp. Fortunately, we got access to it. We just had to make sure that we can remove it in case that an airplane have to land there. Actually, it's an airstrip, and we asked how often airplanes are coming, and one engineer said, I think the last one was 10 years ago. Probably we are on the safe side, and even when it starts in ZL, it needs 1,000 kilometers, so it needs 2 or 3 hours, and it's pretty much enough to clear the field. It was a good thing that the field was very clean and was very easy to install the antennas. We had to look into Google before and thought that all grassland would be easy to make antennas there, but when we came there, grass was about 1.80 meters. And so it's very difficult to write any antennas here, but this one place was perfect for us. So what did we have in the West Camp? 4 stations also, AK3, AK1000, YP to the east, 3 4-squares. So in total we had 5 4-squares. Who of you have 5 4-squares at home? Not so many. So I think it's close to the maximum what you can do. Even we only had 1 4-square and 80, but we had 2 4-squares and 40 and 2 and 30. So we were able to run these bands in parallel. We have the Wilmas here, the VDAs, so here we go vertical, and on 12 and 17 we go horizontal, where just the other way from the east camp. And also the west camp, we had the 2-mile coverage, 4 directions, USA long path, Europe short path, Europe long path. This is a view to the west camp, 2 tents with 4 stations inside. Here you can see the YP, and here you can see the rocks. That's into a south direction, so actually this was, position was good for Europe. This is this way, and USA is this way. There's open water in this direction. It was perfect. So all stations were generator driven, no electricity on the island. We had to make electricity ourselves by, I think, 6 generators, beverages with switching boxes, preamplifiers and so on. I think we had about nearly 2.5 kilometer cable to control the beverages from both camps, and to send the signals over the coax to the camps. 80 meter 4-square. We tried to make as much as we could in advance, just to make a fast installation, so everything was well prepared in the beginning. We just attached the radios to a plate, and so it was actually was very fast to come on the air. 160 meter, 360 meter Titanics. Not the perfect place, but the best place we could find for it, and it's very close to the water, about 50 meters over the sea level. So then just a few pictures how it looks inside the tents. One station, the other one. This is ZL5CW, this is DK1II running daily daylight hours. This is ZL8R Hotel. I don't know what is doing right now, maybe. Why are so many people calling and listening? Our lady had some different thinking about the colors in the wind test. If you know wind test, normally the colors are different. So you can change everything. The bad thing is that there's no way right now to make personal settings. So the other operators, the next to me who came after me, said, it's impossible, I cannot work with colors, I have to change it first. So a lot of USOs every time. Food was presented 3 times a day by the breakout crew. That was good because there was no need for us to have a look at food things. We made all the transportations to the island and we took care of us, so we only had the radio part to do. This is a small kitchen area inside the wheelchair house, so it was quite comfortable. Felix, ZL8R Lima, who is famous for the, what is it called then? He's in the Antarctica, you have EP0, you know? Huh?
EP1?
EP1? No. I don't know. Maybe one of you walked him. He's Felix. Normally is the guy who is in Antarctica over there most of the year, and he also is doing on ham radio from there. I think he was 2 or 3 times in Antarctica, and he had his 14th birthday. There was a small ops presentation. So now we come to the contest. And first picture is from the beer contest. Yeah. Yes, so introduced, now we come to the CQ Worldwide. CQ Worldwide was the biggest contest in that time. Let's see what on the time. Yeah, okay. What could we expect? Actually, in the beginning I want some discussion. Should we work the contest as a contest, or should we just work like in the expedition and just making QSOs during the contest, give the number, but don't care about the contest. So it was a little bit discussion, but at the end we decided, hey boy, it's running really good from here and we have a really good chance to make a good result. So we decided to spend 5 stations of the 8 to the contest team and the other 3 to WARC bands and RTPY and single side band. So 5 stations concentrated to work the contest. 1 on 10 and 1 on 60 was 1 station, and the other bands 15, 20, 40, 80 had permanent station. 80 and 40 meter moved then into the normal traffic on WARC, SSB, RTY during the day, because there was no need to run it during the day. And so I think it was quite perfect to have the maximum stations in the CQ Worldwide contest, but also running besides the contest also the normal traffic. Yeah, what we have studied before was that the record, Oceania record was at 23 million points, I think, and it was about 12,000 QSOs. So it was hard to predict how close we could come, or even if we would come in this range. The record was held by KH0 Alpha Mike from 1996, is it right? Or so?
89 or 90.
Yeah, but in the 90s, so actually it was time to set a new one. But from the Pacific, you'll never know what will happen, because during the daytime you normally only have 1 band or maybe 2. The one is 15 meters. 15 meters is the best band during the day. 10 meters you never can be sure if the band is open or not. And 20 meters is quite lazy, because the distance to the other parts, to Europe, to JA, to US is quite long, and so 20 meters is not working good during the day, but quite good over most parts in the night. So we just tried. We didn't reach the 12,000, but we had a pretty good multiplier, and in the end we had 27.7. Maybe I mixed this. and the record was on 23.95. Here still were some mistakes in it because we had a few wrong zones we removed afterwards, so we ended at 27.7, but it's pretty much over the old record. I'm sorry for you, because I think you were a member of the K3M. Was you, Kazu? No, then it's no problem. Amazing was that half of the QSOs were with US, a quarter was with Asia, and a quarter was with Europe. So Europe was quite running good, and also US was running perfect. After Secure Worldwide, then we said the contest is going very well from here. Can we do more contests? And then next weekend we have the ALL 10 meter. I will do the ALL 10 meter contest. And at 12 o'clock he started, and yes, he started with the 211 late. And he said, yeah, everybody is giving me 001. Late shot. 42 QSOs, everybody is giving him number 001. And then one guy came on track and said, what number you want to have for me? Yeah, serial number, just give me 001 or what you have. And this guy said, what contest is it? It's the 8 10 meter contest. No, the 8 10 meter contest is next week. So we then went and stopped operation after 42 QSOs. At least 42 stations before didn't care about it, gave the number. And then we thought about what can we do now? Should we send a log? Is it checkbook or should we create our own Kermadec contest? And we said, okay, Kermadec contest is a good idea. And one guy said, oh, no, it's no good idea because who's the winner? We have 42 winners. Everybody makes one QSO, everybody has the same number of points. So this is no good idea. So it's still open, we have no decision what to do with it. That can happen. So, Magic Band. Anybody interested in Magic Band? I think you, EVR, who else? A lot of people are involved in the 6 meter activity, and I can tell you, I started the 6 meter myself a couple of years ago and can be more challenging than 160 meter. We still had a simple antenna, but this time we had a rotator. On the Willis we didn't have a rotator, we said okay, we turned the antenna 1 hour here and 1 hour here, and then after a few days we didn't turn the antenna any more because it was boring. Just to turn it into the noise, and this time we had the rotator, we had the control device inside to check, so it was easy to return the antenna. And so we found a propagation to Fox Kilo 8. There was a beacon running from the noise from 1 second to the next. Was the beacon with S7 FK86/B, and we started CQ, and in very short time we were able to contact every station. So it was very amazing to walk in about 2 hours towards 73 stations from ZL1 to 3, VK4, VK2, VK3, VK5. So I think I heard a very, very weak sugar mic. I couldn't get it, but it's still in the audio. Europe on top end. This chart was made by IV3PRK. He sent it to me after the expedition, and I said to him, how do you get all this data, man? And he said, I was listening every night and I noted all the stations worked. And then on the next day I checked all the call signs in the online log. A few were in the log, a few were not in the log. And every night I did the same. And I said, why did it? And I said, I simply waited for my chance because I never heard you. And one evening he was able to hear me and to give a call and to make a contact, and then he stopped this because this was no more interesting for him. As you can see, it can be very boring to wait many evenings for a chance. So we included most of Europe. Most difficult was this part, France, UK, also parts of Norway. Here, this area is coming directly over the pole, and the other coming this way. This was the most common way every evening. Yeah, expedition must end, all the contest ends after 48 hours, and so you need a break sometimes. Sometimes you need a break during radio operation, so if somebody of you were not able to make contact, maybe that is the picture. He could not hear you. You were not loud enough that you could wake him up. So how much time do we have? I have some more stuff about the island itself, maybe 10 minutes more, just to get a little bit faster through it. Island is known for a lot of volcanic activity. Every couple of decades volcanic activity happens where several times settlers have tried to live there, but it was too far away from New Zealand, so it didn't make sense. And in 1983, government of New Zealand made a permanent radio and meteorological station, and since then fixed personnel staff is on the island. In 1990, then it was moved to a reserved area where no normal permit is possible, and then we started to get away all the rats, all the goats, all the sheep, and then when we had finished with the animals, we changed to the plants. Now we are on the plants, and when we have all the plants away from the island, then I don't know what we will do next then. We had one afternoon to explore the island. Fortunately, we had such small cars. Dog people were very helpful, as I already said, and showed us a lot of the island. Just to give you some impression about the things to see on the island. Small island museum. What is inside? Even a hardware coffee is present. Technical museum. Radio station. Meteorological station. We have a balloon. We set up a balloon every day with, to carry and to carry meteorological data. We have our own brewery with a lot of beer, but in advance we drank all our beer first because we are very clever and said, let's first drink the beer of these people, then we can longer drink our beer when the people are gone. So this is the trip to the volcano. Kai Peak, that is the highest place on the island where the webcam where you can have a look through the internet from the webcam. There's a picture I think every hour, and here I have a view on the campsite. This is the Woolshed area, and here you can see the volcano lakes. It was 4 years ago there was volcanic activity, and it's still not. No trees and no vegetation until 4 years. Since then, even that. It's in memory of Mark Kelly, who was killed during the eruption of the volcano in 2006. It can happen. Some pictures from the island. It's not so good for swimming. It's cold water, quite cold, but really nice island. Really nice parrots, a special kind of parrot is only living on this island. These green parrots, flowers, first, second, flowers, right side. Yeah. It's like in a meteorological garden because we are not used to have contact with humans, so they don't care about you. You can go very close. Goodbye party from the dog. So actually, the dog was quite happy with us, and we were quite happy with the dog. Everything went fine. So dog gave a goodbye party to us, that there are the rooms from the dog. And this is the picture with all the crew members, with the Braveheart people and with most of the dog people. And that's it. I think we are still in time, so probably we have 5 minutes more for questions or comments or complaints or whatever. Thank you very much. Question?
Okay, how many kilos did you make?
Sorry, I forgot how many kilos. So 148,500.
How many on top balance?
On top end, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the numbers here because actually Ben FPL wanted to internally do the presentation, but as he got yellow, I don't have any numbers. But just from the knowing, it was 4,000 kilos on 160 and 1,000 with Europe. Yeah, the good thing on the 148,000 is, as in the beginning said, from Willis we missed the 100K border by about 1,000 kilos, and now we missed the 150K border by about 1,400. So actually it's possible to get the 1,500. So it's still hope that we will try again, maybe next year or the year after. Any more questions?
Did you use a skimmer on CW or did you do it a traditional way? Did you use a skimmer?
We had a skimmer for 6 meters, but we never used it. It was still in our belongings, but we didn't have the time or the interest to set it up. For the other bands, we didn't use skimmer during the expedition. But we had the internet, we had the packet cluster during the contest, but not the RBN because of the huge traffic. Any more? No? So,
Next island.
next island. Next island.
Yes, next. Which island is the next island for you?
Next expedition.
Don't go to Navassa. Don't go there.
I have no idea yet. Okay. Scarborough. That is the Finnish possession, I think.
Okay, well done, Dietmar, Thomas.